Thank you, National Colloid, for sponsoring this broadcast. A National Colloid company with over 75 years in the chemical industry can take care of all your chemical blending needs.
Okay, welcome into Ohio Valley Sports Online here from the Harp and the Habit McCarthy's Irish Pub as we move forward with our Catholic Central segment sponsored by the National Colloid Company with Coach Eric Meek. Coach, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it, Coach. First time I got a chance to talk to you. Got a chance to watch you play a few times, especially Saturday against Bridgeport. And my comments are going to follow your comments, Coach. Tell us about Bridgeport.
Well, you know, we were a little concerned as a staff simply because the quarterback, number one, has been there for a long time, and he was a very dangerous runner. The tailback was good, and they were big up front, and 14 of their 28 kids on their rosters were seniors. So that's 17, 18-year-old kids playing against some 14, 15, 16-year-olds. But our kids came out, and we moved the ball. We had two big, huge drives. We had a 6.5-minute drive and a 10-minute drive. And when you can do that and put points on the board, that's good. And then our defense in the second half really turned it up a notch. And our special teams improved from the week before. And, you know, once I think we scored and it was 15-13. We scored 21-13, 10-minute drive, kicked the extra point. Now we're up by 9, and I think that's when the tide really turned, because now it's a 2-score game. But it was a hard-fought win. Homecoming, which was awesome. It was an awesome weekend.
Nice crowd.
Yep. It started Thursday with the Hall of Fame and activities all through the week. And, we're 3-1. We're a young football team that's 3-1 that's played hard all 4 games. And that's all you can ask as a coach. I feel like we're getting better.
Well, Coach, you know, one thing that I've noticed and I always comment on is, you know, we've been watching you now for 3 years. How long you been
4.
in Central? 4 years. And your style to me is you develop your linemen and you want your linemen to get off the ball. And you, to me, seem like a throwback to when I coached. You know, just we're coming at you, you know, and you got some guys that, you know, you run tackle to tackle, as I see it most of the time, and you got some elusive backs that have been able to pick up yards for you. But, I mean, I cannot say enough, and I don't know if you want to single people out, but I just can't say enough offensively about Sprockeye and what he does. I mean, like, the kid slips tackles like nobody I have ever seen, and he gets in behind your lineman, and he finds holes, and he hits them hard.
Yeah, 174 yards last week, or 171 of the 2, I can't remember. But, you know, he's a tough kid. He's a great kid from a character standpoint, and he's a smart kid. And, you know, he'll tell me what he thinks, which is good, in a positive way, not in a negative way at all. And, you know, I trust him. If he says to me, Coach, here's what I think's there, sometimes I'll veto him. But, you know, we got good kids at Central, and we got a lot of smart kids, and he's one of them.
Well, that's a coach on the field. But, Coach, his speed is literally shocking. I mean, he hits the hole, and he tries to get to the sideline, and he'll outrun anybody.
Yeah, and people think I'm crazy. I put him back on kickoffs and punts, but we're Division 7. And that could be, and it has in the past. He is, you know, a year ago I did the same thing. I had Tommy Purgie back there on punts, and he won us some games. And this year and last year, Matthew has done some great things on the kickoff and the punt returns as well. So, you know, he never comes off the field.
Well, it appears to me, personnel-wise, you got a nice mix. You know, you're figuring in, you know, you got some freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors that are coming into play for you. But your offensive line has been impressive, and a lot of credit goes there.
Well, thank you. We have some kids back, but we've also had some kids that have stepped in. Alex Fedorov was a JV player. He's a big kid, and he's had a good senior season. Who
wow,
was a receiver to
wow.
tight end, and then I called him in. I said, James, we don't have a lot of linemen, and he's a team first kid. He only started playing football last year. He played volleyball out in Columbus at Columbus St. Charles before he moved to Steubenville, and he's done a good job. And then you got Nick Mascio at center, Braylon Wilson, the move-in at guard, and Johnny Kostecki, who's back, and Hunter Kirkpatrick's played a little. And then at tight end, we have Matty Jones, who's a sophomore, Seth White, a freshman, and sometimes J.P. Gessler, who's a senior. But, it's just the line, the way we practice our offense, and I know that some of the older coaches do this, I think Reno still does it, is we go good on good tomorrow. We'll go half line, where we put a left guard, a center, right guard, tackle, tight end, a backfield against the best people we can. We get a water break. We go left side. Then we mix it up with the pass game and the outside run game. And we started that 2 years ago. And I just feel like if you can move the ball on the ground and get physical, it'll make you a more physical team in general.
Can you go help the Steelers? I think they need some help with that.
I
that
don't even know
line.
because like we've said before, I don't even know what the Steelers' record is because Sunday after church we're in there meeting all day.
Well,
so it's a 7-day-a-week grind.
You and I have talked, and I've known you for many, many years, and you've always been one who is run first, and control the game, and you've done it very well wherever you've been. That's been a staple of yours, and you've done it very well. Passing-wise, I mean, you'll throw the ball, but Matthew Sprocki is very, very, very efficient. 5 completions last night, not a lot of yards, 41 yards, but he hit 5 different receivers with his 5 completions. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
And the no intercept, complete 60% of your passes and don't have turnovers. I've been saying that since 1993.
And you didn't,
Right.
and the penalties were down, everything, so
Right.
You've kept that down, and when you don't put yourself in harm's way with turnovers and penalties, and you keep yourself in front of the sticks instead of behind the sticks, that's a good formula.
Yes.
Well, I know
Thank you.
you've overcome the turnover issue that you started out the year with. You're not putting the ball on the ground, and you're playing better defense.
Yes, and we had that issue in the scrimmages as well. But yeah, the first game we've improved, and you said the turnovers are huge. I mean, the turnover margin the last 2 weeks has been heavily in our favor, and that's something you have to do. You can't get penalties. You got to move the ball. You got to stop. Your defense can bend but don't break, and you got to play special teams and be disciplined.
Another thing, Coach, Santi Descalzo has come on and emerged as your kicker, and he's done a great job for you. And people don't understand how important that one. Can you talk about how that's evolved?
Yeah, Sonny came out this year for the first time on the soccer team. I just met him in late July. When he called me one night, and one of the kids gave him my number, and I said, yeah, come over. And, he's done a good job. Last week was 2 for 2? I believe 2 for 2.
2 for 2, yeah.
So, that was very important. And then the week before he had several kicks. So that was his first time in there. So, yes.
Coach, you're sitting at 3-1. You're approaching week 5. You get a big one, Wheeling Central.
Yeah, Mike Young and I have been friends for 30 years. He's a class act. Anyone that knows Mike, he's just a great, great human being.
Good man.
Good for high school football. Their program is as good as it's going to get. And, last year we played hard, but they were much better than us. And they got a lot of kids back. And, we're going to – all I ask our kids to do is to play hard and represent the school. Play as hard as you can for 48 minutes. And we'll see what happens. I would say that I got some tough football teams on our schedule coming up here, and they may be the best of all of them.
Eric, you don't face – he runs that spin series, and they run it to perfection. I've never seen anybody run it better than them. Of course, you don't see it very often. How do you go about preparing for that? Because you don't see that. I mean, the other 9 games you have, you're probably not going to see anybody run anything.
Yeah. They've done a little bit of a difference. They do some different things this year, but it's something that, it's just like when we ran that I call it the hammer offense. People don't see that where everyone's in the, inside. I say it's like running plays inside a telephone booth. But when I tell the kids that they don't even know what a telephone booth is, we're getting old. Like last week.
Where does their Superman change?
Yeah. So, but it's the same thing. Whenever you go against an offense that is a little different than what you see today, the spread, and it is hard. And I think sometimes when we've done that type of offense that we did a year ago and the year before, I think that was an advantage because some teams are like, well, we're not used to seeing this. So, it is an issue.
Well, what's the biggest thing that you can expect from Wheeling Central, Coach?
Well, they're good on defense, and, they are consistent offensively. They're just a consistent football program. They have won for years, and, they just, it's passed away. Mike took the program over. I think it might have been the year I was at Weir High when we coached against each other. But Mike and I have been friends a long, long time, and they're well coached and they do things the right way.
Yeah, long history. I mean, goes way back. Steubenville Central, Wheeling Central. It goes way back. Good to see him on the schedule, though.
And you guys are very similar. You have a really, really good, solid, experienced coaching staff. He's got guys that have been with him, and they're all really good, solid coaches as well. And it shows in your programs.
And if I can, just real quick, to my staff, it's a great staff. Ted Kostecki's our defensive coordinator. He's a guy. He bleeds blue and gold. He does a tremendous job. Seth White has been with me now 4 years. He's as good as a defensive back receiver coach I've seen at any level, even, when I coach at the college level. He's fantastic. Doug Taylor's come over as my offensive coordinator. Of course, Doug and I were at Weir High together. Then he went on to win a state title as head coach at Madonna and most recently head coach at Oak Glen. Ray Purnell came over with Doug. Ray's an old friend that was on my Weir High staff years ago. And Mike Conrad is on our staff also, who is our dean of students and a coach at Indian Creek. And then my dad, of course, helps us, and Dr. Todd Phillipson, who's now our principal, has kind of stepped back in a lesser role, but he still contributes as much as he possibly can. So very fortunate, not only solid coaches, but solid people. And in today's society, you got to have people you can trust that are good human beings, because all it takes is one bad apple on your staff and they can blow the entire thing up.
Amen to that, Coach. That's words of wisdom. Coach Eric Meek, Steubenville Catholic Central Crusaders, 3-1 here at the High Valley Sports Online Coaches Show. They got Wheeling Central Saturday night. Wish you the best of luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you.
Coach, good luck.
We'll be there. That's right. That's our game of the week on Saturday, High Valley Sports Online. Thanks for Danny Vogel reminding me, as he always does. So until that time, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.